Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video, where today we are going to be speculating on who I think is going to be there for the Order 66 raid. You can probably guess where this is going a bit from the thumbnail, but let's just get into it. So the first way I went around gathering what this might lead to is, well, I looked up the past raids that we know have been in this format, at what the units required were, and what factions were required. And what I found, Crate Raid, you had the Hutt Cartel, Old Republic, Mandalorians, Tuskens, Jawas, 39 units total. Endor, you had Imperial Troopers, Rebels, Ewoks, Jedi, which led up to 30 units total. And Naboo, you had the Galactic Republic, Separatists, Gungans, and the Sith, again leading up to 2 units total. So in the past, the patterns I was able to pick up, we had about 4 to 5 factions, with there always being at least one faction that was more dominant than the others in terms of how many units were available to use in the raid. And ever since Crate, we've had an increasing amount of new characters for the raid, with Crate being a bit of an outlier, with us having quite a few months of farming the Tuskens and the Hutt Cartel before the raid actually came out, so we had that time for preparation. So with the new Bad Batch, they kind of seem to be filling in, but we have been getting more new characters every raid cycle. So what we know about the Order 66 raid is that so far we know there's at least 4 confirmed factions, which fills in with what we believed already. And no one faction at the moment is dominating the requirement list, which I think is an important thing that we should look at. We've got at least 13 new characters coming. I think there's going to be more, because of this pirate shenanigans happening later, but more on that further into the video. We've had a potential Lightspeed bundle with some of the raid requirements, with the Jedi Vanguard Lightspeed bundle, which gave you I'm a Gun-Die, Mace, Kit, and Luminara unduly. Do I think all of these are going to be in it? No, because people have invested in some of these more than others. But do I think some are possibly going to be requirements? We'll have to wait and see. And we know the pirates are coming late. Does this mean that we're potentially getting a 5th faction? Maybe. However, here's the characters we do know are required. So, new Bad Batch team, we know they're required for certain. We know Jedi Master Mace, Jocasta, and the 2 new Jedi Vanguards being Depper, Vilaba, and the Temple Guard. They're also going to be required. We've had confirmation Tarkin is leaving clones in this raid, which there's another 5. And of course we know that SM-33, for God knows what reason, is gonna be required. I still don't understand what CG are thinking of by making pirates a faction usable in this raid. So with all this in mind, I had a look at the tags that we've got for these guys. Possibly a few more on pirates. I didn't want to look at them longer than I needed to. And honestly, I think Clone Troopers, I think, is out. I think it's just, don't see them giving us the ability to use old clones. Similarly, Jedi is a very broad faction. Unless they were to limit the characters, which they could do, don't get me wrong, I just don't see what they could do. In Galactic Republic, we had it last run, so I think that is our 4 factions we're going to be getting. Which does line up with the characters we know are required for the raid, with it being falling into the Bad Batch, the Jedi Vanguard, the Empire and the Pirates. Now the assumptions I took in my predictions was that we aren't having any more factions, we're going to have a maximum of 30 characters, and full teams will be made for the raid. So with that out of the way, let's just get into the predictions. So for the Bad Batch, I honestly think it's just going to be the new ones. Well, yes, it would make sense for CG to re-release the Bad Batch Lightspeed bundles, which they have done. I honestly don't think they're going to be required. I think it's just another push for people to get Lord Vader, and hopefully CG's probably hoping that they can monetize the new clones more. So I honestly don't think this is... Yeah, I don't think the old Bad Batch are going to be a bone thrown to the player base. However, I do believe Inquisitors, to some degree, are gonna be required, which they do fall into that Empire tag. So I think we are getting Tarkin with the clones, they're gonna be doing Order 66, we got the Jedi Hunters in the Inquisitors. I think they honestly could be a pretty major faction that we will be seeing at play during this raid. I think with Vanguard, I think we're getting Kelleran back because they've said that he works with Joe Caster. Joe Caster we know's coming because of her kit reveal saying, yep, she's working with Jedi Master Mace, and Jedi Master Mace is required. Now, as you can see, I have got 3 of the units from that Lightspeed bundle previously mentioned, the Jedi Vanguard one, in this list. I honestly think it makes sense for Mace Windu and Kit Fisto to be in the raid. They were there with Palpatine's arrest, which directly causes Order 66. And let's be honest, we're not going to be left with just 5 Vanguard units, especially when 4 of them are going to be new. It's the exact same reasoning I have for the Empire. We've had Inquisitors for a while. It's going to be a team that's more free-to-play friendly for those who aren't spending on these new clones. But yeah, I think Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, I'm a Gundai, that's why they were in the Lightspeed bundle. It's a hint towards the new requirements. I mean, Ayla Secura and Barriss. Ayla, she isn't really... I mean, as far as I'm aware, she isn't relic too high. I know she was in the last raid, but so was Mason, Kit, and Kelleran. I'm trying not to keep a closed mind, because the Jedi Vanguard, quite a lot of them were required as raid requirements for Naboo. And Barriss, she's only used for a requirement for Ahsoka at the moment. So I think they're going to want to have people try and push her a bit more. That does mean that I only think we're getting 5 pirates for this raid, thankfully. It makes sense for CG, because Jedi Vanguard and the clones, they were the ones that people were hyped about. People weren't too hyped about Bad Batch. They haven't been too hyped about pirates. So I think we're getting one of the leaders. I don't know who it was going to be, honestly. I haven't watched Skeleton Crew. I don't really care for the pirates enough to watch Skeleton Crew. Don't really know the faction like that. But we're going to get a pirate. We're going to get SM-33. Hondo, I reckon, might be required. He's been around with... Well, he's been there in the Clone Wars. It makes sense. And I think we've honestly got 2 other unnamed pirates coming. Mainly because I can't see how they can have Sana and Enfys be the last 2 requirements. because as far as I'm aware, neither of them really have any connection to the Clone Wars. Although if you know if they do, please let me know down below in the comments. It would help massively, because then I can adjust predictions for the future, if it's say like in an obscure comic book line. I haven't read them all, you guys might have. So by letting me know, I can make better content for you guys. But yeah, I honestly think these guys, I think that is our raid requirement list. CG hasn't given us any news. It sucks how many new units there are. It's gonna suck even more if it's like there's 2 teams that are free to play, accelerated, friendly. At least Bad Batch you can farm up, so honestly, if you don't know what to do at the moment, I would honestly farm up Bad Batch shards. I'm gonna be waiting for the clones to come out, farm those guys up to like Relic 7-ish. And that will be one of my teams. I might do the Bad Batch, I don't know yet. But if you've enjoyed this video, albeit with the pirates being there, let me know down below in the comments section below, and I will see you guys next time.